So a thing just happened, but in order for me to explain, I'll need to get somewhere that's A, quieter, and 2, a bit less sunny, because there is a lot of sun out here. It's definitely less sunny here, but it's somehow louder, and this music is definitely tempting the YouTube copyright gods. So I'm going to have some lunch, and then we can go somewhere where we can talk. So here's the deal. Phones contain like all the information ever. If you think about it, you can get whatever you want at any given time. However, I had a parcel I needed to send and I knew roughly where the shop was, that was about it. So I spent half an hour today trying to find the right place. That's fine. Ended up sending it, so that's okay. But it's one of those things where you don't think about how having or not having a smartphone can be an inconvenience until you're there in the moment. I thought I was in the right place, but I wasn't quite sure, so there was some social anxiety about having to ask, which I then did do, and it turned out I was in the right place anyway, which then meant the anxiety was completely meaningless. But hey, it is what it is. The thing has been sent now, and I have a smoothie because the weather is great and I am procrastinating heading back into the office. You know what not being on a phone 24/7 has made me realise? Everywhere is playing music and I'm going to get copyright struck no matter where I go. Sometimes I have these days, and I'm sure everyone has them, it's normal, where you feel like you can't get anything right. But that feels like it's the wrong word. It may just be my imposter syndrome sparking up, but it's this feeling that you're not quite good enough. There's a clear evolution if you look at the history of Snappy-Talk videos between the first video
Guys, it's the main blocker from Snappy-Talk News and Reviews.
And the latest video, Vitamin Water just threw down a gauntlet. And oh boy, they have no idea what's coming next. There's a clear path there, but sometimes it just feels like nothing I do is good enough. And that kind of sucks. What doesn't suck though is if I move from side to side, the My Pocket will follow me. Like, that is honestly really fun. But yeah, these last couple of days have felt a bit muted, a bit weird, and a bit, I don't know. And I guess the reason I'm bringing this up is because I want to kind of formulate some advice. But to do that, I need to go elsewhere. And I don't know why I keep doing this. I keep starting a point and being like, but we have to go somewhere else when we don't actually have to go anywhere. But let's go over here. Tennis, as is being played behind me, is an inherently one-on-one sport primarily, unlike a team sport like football, where if one player is doing badly, then the team might be able to get by. In tennis, it's completely down to you. In tennis, if you're having a bad game, you will lose the game, unless you're like Rafael Nadal and you somehow manage to win everything. Point being, a large part of that game is just mental. It's making sure you're in that mind frame. And I think a lot of the work I do is that similar thing. In my work, it's all about having the right frame of mind, being focused and being able to look into what you think will look great, whether it be for this vlog or whether it be for a piece of work. And sometimes just being that little bit out of sync is something that can compound. One small bad decision leads to a second slightly larger bad decision, and that spirals into a video that just isn't great. And sometimes the decisions are objective. A lot of the time there isn't a decision that's better or worse. They're just different, and the video works just as well regardless of which one you choose. But there's one that you wanted, or one that you chose, that someone else has been objecting, or someone else tells you that it was a terrible decision and you never should have used that cut in the last vlog where I did the glitch thing. And this isn't about that, this is just an example. And there also isn't anything specific I should mention, this is like a general mood. Like, it's things like cuts that inevitably are meaningless, but in the moment feel like huge things. even though they're not. Sometimes it's really important to get that perspective, and I think it's something that the best tennis players, in this case, do really well. They do a great job of sectioning off bits of their game depending on what's happening in that given moment in time, not letting the struggles of one set move into the next. And I think that's something I need to work on, I'll be honest. But it's something that I am working on and saying we're moving towards, and I think that's good. I do have an actual actionable advice though. As it's picking up rain, I'll breeze through this. Step 1 is tell someone into the letterbox. See? All about that imagery. Make sure people know how you feel. This isn't a matter of needing validation every 30 seconds that you're the greatest person and everything you do is right and you make no wrong choices. It's about making sure that you just feel valued. And this probably sounds super cheesy, but every time someone does say something nice, write it down. Keep a list of compliments that you can refer to every time you feel terrible. On the subject of feeling terrible, this rain is starting to pick up, so I'm gonna head to the cover that is the train station. The thing is, even though I know to do better, that doesn't automatically mean I can. My response is usually the exact opposite. I shut down and don't talk to people. I shut down and don't talk to people. It's a bit like knowing you're blind. Just because you know you're blind doesn't mean you're any more able to see. So my advice is great. Maybe I should start following it at some point. So I started talking about how to deal with imposter syndrome, but I felt like it was lacking to some extent, and also the audio wasn't great, so I've waited until I'm home. This is the next day, hence the change in shirts. But I want to talk about a couple more things. So in this I mentioned about talking to people and making sure people are aware, as well as collecting compliments. I feel like that's not the right way to describe it, but just having a list of things people have said. And in that similar vein, I also want to add collecting accomplishments. Every time you do something you're proud of, take a note of it. Every time you make an achievement, something notable, whether it be career or personal, just write it down. Also drink tea, lots and lots of tea. Quick side note, this is an ad for Noctua. I just bought a couple of their fans and replaced them, and honestly they are so much better than the previous ones. This PC is now effectively silent under idle. It is great. I should have made this change like years ago. My fourth piece of advice would be to plan things entirely, like start to finish, the whole thing. And this is something that I really struggle with because I love the idea of winging it, especially like presentation-y stuff. I really struggle with this, so I tend to, for example, if I'm booking my calendar, leave empty spaces where things are fluid, where I don't have meetings as much as possible, so that if something happens last second and I need to get something done, I have the time. You should be planning your time, even the time that isn't in meetings. I occasionally try my best to block out time for specific bits of work. So even though I'm not in meetings, it's all in my calendar under timings, so I know when I should be doing what. Honestly, I'm not very consistent with that, but when I do it, it works, so maybe try it. You should also be willing to ask for help. If you need help, that isn't the end of the world. People need help all the time. If you have questions about how you think something should be done, but you're not 100% certain, ask someone. Tell them you're not certain. Tell them you need some guidance, and they should be more than willing to give it. And if you do ask for help, and it's from a manager, then a good manager should be able to provide that help. And if they do, make sure you actually use their advice. There's no point asking for help if you're going to go straight into something and just pretend you never got that advice in the first place. In fact, it might even make you a little bit resentful of the person you asked for help from, because you asked for help and then it didn't work because you didn't use it. So make sure you do that. And finally, from my point of view, something that I like to do is just take a break. Honestly, if you're feeling exhausted, it'll only accentuate the imposter syndrome. I found that I feel worst when I have had like a couple of weeks of completely crazy work, as I have done lately, but I'm aware that I'm coming to the end of that and it'll be fine, but just be willing to take a break. When I get to the end of this massive project, I will do precisely that. I will have a weekend where I'll just decompress and do absolutely nothing. In fact, the next 2 vlogs won't be vlogs, they'll be videos that I've actually already filmed before this. I am in the process of editing those, and those will be edited and ready to go for the next 2 weeks, and then that way I can have a proper rest. Rest is crucial, whether it be sleep or just breaks in general. Make sure to get plenty of them and don't feel guilty about it. Breaks make you more effective in the long run. Now, this isn't an exhausted list of things you can do, so make sure you do your own research and look into it, but you should definitely speak to someone. These feelings are hard to externalize because you feel like if you tell someone you'll break the illusion. But everyone is equally confused. Like, there isn't someone out there who knows every answer to everything. Everyone feels a little bit concerned on occasion. So reach out, do your research, and chances are you'll be absolutely fine. If you enjoyed this video, great. Go check out the GoFundMe. It's snpy.tech/phoneless. I'm currently over a month in and it's going great. So I will see you guys next week, but it will be a video I've already filmed. So I'll see you guys like properly in a few weeks, but I'll make sure to have bits and pieces here. If you want to know how it's going, check me out on Twitter. The link will be in the description. So go do that. I'll see you guys next week. Bye. That's how I used to end the podcast, because it would be fun to watch my audio cut out when I end the stream, just in case you're wondering.